All right, good morning, and today is another blessed day. It is the 30th of August 2022, and yesterday we were able to learn how to sort our coins from those that are performing well to those that are performing poorly. All right, and you can also do vice versa, from those that are performing poorly to those that are performing well. All right, and we see how we can be able to win. So today we want to change our focus and our plan to basically now look at understanding the hacking ash candles. These are some of the candles that we are looking at to become our strategy. There are so many strategies people can use to trade, but I say find one that works for you, stick to it. Right, so understanding the hacking ash candles is our main topic for today, and basically we're gonna see the basics we need to look at. The hacking ash candles, these are Japanese candles, and they keep a trend. I usually say that a market is very volatile, and market volatility is not a friend to anyone, but market trend can be our friend. So if we can learn how to understand the market trends before we even talk about any indicator, then we are on a safe side to be able to enter the market at the right time, because we also need to understand as one-shot traders that trading is timing. So if we can time the market at the right time, we can be able to win amazingly, incredibly from the market. Now let's talk about our market trend. So first and foremost, the hacking ash candles form green candles. The hacking ash candles, they form green candles. All right, when I talk about green candles, I mean that they form candles. If you could see here, they form candles that are flat at the bottom with a wick at the top, and this implies for you that this will be an upward trend. Okay, I hope that is clear. Now let's look at when do they confirm you that there's going to be a downward trend. These hacking ash candles, they form they form red candles that are flat at the top, with a wick at the bottom, and this confirms you that the market is going to go down specifically. Okay, now we want to learn about another important indicator that is very key, that I want you to put your focus, and this indicator is what we call this specific indicator is the indicator we call the Doji, and like you see in your screen there. Now what is a Doji? A Doji is an indicator, ladies and gentlemen. Like you hear the word Doji, the Doji is an indicator. You see sometimes it's a plus. You see here there are two Dojis formed like there. Sometimes it has a little body. And these Dojis, if they are formed in a trend, like I'm going to show you a trend, it means if it was a downward trend, it's going to become an upward trend. So if you see it, then you prepare to enter the market. All right, so having described, our main focus of today's call is the ability and the power for everybody to discover a downward trend as one of our strategies that we are going to be using. Okay, so it is very important, ladies and gentlemen, for us to identify what you call this is purely a downward trend. Hope anyone can see that it's a downward trend. So you need to go through the market. So when you find a downward trend, your ability and power to identify a downward trend, it doesn't matter whether in a 1 hour time frame or in a 2 hour time frame or into a 30 minutes time frame, you need to learn the art of identifying a downward trend. So I'll take this example. If someone was trading CRV, when is the right time to join CRV? Maybe you saw it from here. You're going to tap on the pencil and tap on a trade line. You pick the highest point. It could be this one, it's up to you, or you could choose this one. It may not be so perfect. Right, let me choose this one. And this is the higher high. And then you touch the lower low, this lowest point here. So it means in this scenario, you have identified that this small portion here, there was a downward trend. And if you will follow our next video, by the way, this one is very short. It's one of the shortest videos, because its goal is just for you to understand the Heiken Ash candles, which we have been able to look at, and be able to look for a downward trend. That is the only thing you need to learn. So you could see, if we could go to putting in the indicators at the last stage, because I'll talk about them after identifying my downward trend, then I'll look for a green candle. Okay, so you can identify downward trend. I can basically pick one of the longest downward trends, which all of you can see very well. This downward trend that began all the way from here. This was a pure downward trend, and it basically ended close to there. All right. Now, after I've seen my downward trend, in the near future, like you're going to see in these particular trades that we're going to look at, I'll then play part of our indicators that you're going to learn. Basically, we're going to just apply just two more indicators that I'm going to explain. These two indicators, that will be the stochastic RSI in just a few days from now, and the volume analysis indicator. And I'll basically now bring in my trade lines that you will be able to learn to use. So you go through your trade lines, find the vertical line, have it, find the horizontal line, have it for yourself. All right. Then I'll basically bring my horizontal line. I'm just showing you what you're going to learn in the future. Then I will find a green candle. As simple as that. I'll find a green candle. And this green candle that I'm finding must have some specifics. Julius, what are those specifics you are trying to talk about? These are only three specifics that I'll look at. Basically, I'll look at a yellow bar, which is there. I'll look at what can I say? The blue stochastic RSI above the orange, and also a green candle. And after I've learned that, after I have been able to see that, then I'll bring in my horizontal line, which you're going to learn, right? Draw where the candle closes from, and draw my second horizontal line where the downward trend started from, which is basically around this area. And so when I go down on this area where we have the prediction and measurement area, and I pick my price range, I'll measure from the first horizontal line, ladies and gentlemen, to the upper horizontal line, which gives me 18%. Now it's up to you, all right? After you have identified the trend, it's up to you to say that I will take, let me say 7%, which it has delivered now, or I'll still keep into my trade and maybe stop around here, 12%, or I keep into my trade up to here, or I'll remain here. And that is the trading sequence we are trying to talk about at the end of these 10 days. So what is the main topic for today, ladies and gentlemen? The main topic for today is you to basically and purely go to your watch list. The main topic for today is basically and purely go to your watch list and build into finding a downward trend. Like you see here on IPC, if you can wait for 3 to 4 days, I hope you can see it here. If I had just to show you what I've done the other side, just to show you what happened in the history. This is a green Heiken Ash candle, which all of you can see very well. So I draw my vertical line, then I draw my horizontal line from where the candle closes from, which is there basically. Then I draw my second line where the downtrend started from, which is basically here. And these lines are basically on this type of a trade that have been there. Then I pick my price range, the price range. Then I press my dot where the first horizontal line started from, which is basically here, to where the downtrend started, and this trade has delivered 9%. What you need to do is just remain patient. It has delivered 9.7%. So we can basically, what I want us to emphasize today, what I want us to talk about today is identifying a downward trend, because basically if you don't learn the art of identifying the downward trend, ladies and gentlemen, you'll find that this session may not work for you, because you can see this was a downward trend, then an upward trend. So we want to have the art of identifying a downward trend. It's the main lesson for today. Okay, it is the main lesson for today, because if you identify the downward trend, then the rest of everything will be very, very simple for you. All right, so it is important. Let me remove off all the indicators, because these we are going to apply after everybody who's following these videos. You are able to have the art of identifying a downward trend. As simple as that. There is no art, there is no physics, there is no chemistry here. As possible, you can see with your naked eyes that this was a downward trend. Identify where it started from and where it ended. Then you wait for a green candle. I'm not saying you start trading, because some of you maybe you feel like you want to start trading. You are not. Nobody can ever finish the money into the market space. So our goal is to identify a downward trend. That's the main topic. So you can identify a downward trend, and if you, I usually say that the main thing to understand in this world is the market is very volatile and it's unfriendly. But a trend, I want to repeat, but a trend. So if you can basically go down, if you can identify a downward trend like this one, this was a sweet downward trend. But even though this downward trend happened, you can see this was a sweet downward trend. You may take halfway the trend or wait, because as long as you wait, this downward trend will always deliver. So what I'm trying to, ladies and gentlemen, talk about is you having the ability to identify a downward trend from where it started to where it ended. And so that can be purely done by using a trend line. A trend line is one of those amazing indicators you can use. And also, what I could talk about, let me talk about another trade line. So once you come on trade lines, there are so many. One I would love to talk about is the flat bottom. So this applies when the market is going up. So you pick the lower low, which is that point in that area where the market went to its lowest point. Make sure you draw a straight line, and as your line it has one or two touches. Then you tap once. Then this becomes a flat bottom. Now, why do you draw such an indicator? You want to make sure that if this particular coin you are trading closes above your trend and forms a candle above your trend, it means it has retested it. It means now it's going to be an upward trend. So learning the art of creating trends, because we need to understand that the market volatility is not in our favor. But a trend is in our favor. Because if I understand from here that this is going to be an upward trend, I'll trade comfortably than me just getting into the market like a gambler. Alright? So understand the market trend. It is very, very important. But the trend I want you to identify, the art that I want you to identify is the art of a downward trend. If you can discover that this is a downward trend, I'll be happy. Because now, my next few lessons are going to be sweet and nice for you. You don't need to learn a lot. You don't need to become an expert. You don't need to become an analyzer. Can you see with your naked eyes? Even before I draw a trade line, this market started from here and came down up to here. Can you be able to see that? If you can be able to see that, so you wait for a green candle to close. We are going now to add in more indicators that help you to know when to get into the market. But can you discover a downward trend? I'm not looking at anything else. I'm not talking about analyzing anything else. I'm just talking about a downward trend. Now, like I usually say, there are so many things that people talk about into the crypto space. But this is my say. You find a strategy that works for you and you stick to it. And the strategy I'm talking about here is identifying a downward trend, either in the 4 hours time frame or either in the 1 hour time frame. And we are using the hacking ash candles. So see you next in our next video. This is talking about just identifying a trend and the hacking ash candles, where we have seen that the red candle form flat at the top with the wick at the bottom to confirm downward movement, and the green candle, they form flat at the bottom with the wick at the top. So if you can identify a downward trend, then when I will talk about tomorrow, I'll talk about 2 indicators. I'll talk about the settings of the volume analysis indicator, and I'll also talk about the next day, I'll talk about the settings of the stochastic indicator. And now, after we have done that, then we are going to combine the hacking ash candles plus the volume analysis indicator plus the stochastic RSI, and then we're gonna start winning trades like we have seen. So thank you so much. I hope this could add value to you. Just 17 minutes of your time, be able to learn this, and you're gonna see how you win. Remember, the market is very volatile. It is not in anybody's favor, but a trend is our friend. God bless you, and have a blessed day.